Yeah. You want it, gotta work for that bag, go get it one day, you can brag. You want it, gotta work for that bag, go get it one day, you can brag. I say that I have it, you know that I got it, no need to look all in the bag. Stunting like this cause I work so hard, I'm the best, I only speak facts. In the store, I'm popping them tags, a limited seller with stag. Clout chasing for the cash grab, I don't really want it that bad. If I say that I have it, you know that I got it, no need to look all in the bag. Stunting like this cause I work so hard, I'm the best.
So here I am back at this again. I am doing YouTube again. I'm giving YouTube another try for real in 2024, but some things have to be a little different, okay? We can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. It's insanity. So I'm gonna share with you all what I'm doing different in 2024 as I give YouTube another real try. Emphasis on real. Okay, girl, get comfortable because I took some notes. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is treating this platform like I don't already have an existing established brand presence anywhere else. That's really one of the things that I think has gotten in my head in terms of committing to YouTube in a real way, because I have been creating content online since 2012. I have an established audience, meaning not a ton of followers, but I have worked in the space long enough where people know me. They associate me with content creation and brand strategy. I run a small business where I help people with brand strategy. And so I think one of the things that's kind of worked against me is feeling like, oh, well, I have this following over here, or, you know, I've worked so hard to like build a community and grow an audience over here. YouTube has just always felt like a long stretch of the imagination, if that makes sense. Oh, child, we're getting vulnerable in this video. I always felt like it should have come more natural because I already had an established presence. And so I would always treat YouTube as an extension of what I was doing on other platforms. But this year, all of that stops. I'm giving YouTube its own energy, treating it as its own channel, as its own platform, independent from anywhere else that I show up online, anywhere else that I create content, anywhere else that I have a presence or have established any type of brand. For me, this is going to be truly branding from the beginning and treating it from scratch. I think so often when you've been doing something for so long, you start to get in your own way because you start to feel like it should look a certain way, or it should be a certain way, or things should come to you more easily because you have experience in that area. And I think in the past when I've tried it, because if you scroll down this page, honey, I have been trying YouTube for years. It is my favorite platform, the one that I've honestly really desired the most since I started creating content. But I think because I've already kind of grew an audience in other places, I really started to let that get in my own way. And so treating this from the beginning, girl, don't nobody know you, okay? They don't know what you do. They don't know who you are. I mean, sure, some people might, but that's the mindset and attitude I'm going in with it, because I think it'll A, make me more humble, and B, make me more hungry. So yeah, that's where I'm going with it. Branding from the beginning. So, hey girl, hi, how you doing? Nice to meet you. I'm going to be prioritizing YouTube as a long form platform, because that's what it is. But I'm really going to be going in with long form content. So I have a podcast already where I've done a season, and those episodes are on YouTube currently. But I really want to do things that make me happy and create content that makes me happy, because I am a brand strategist and creative director for work. I spend a lot of my time in my business helping my clients create content. And to be honest with you, it has sucked some of my creation away from me. And so one of the things that I really, really love is long form content. You upload a video for an hour, baby, I'm there with my water and my snacks, okay? A little cocktail maybe. And so I like to sit through long form content. My background is in television production. I went to school for TV. I used to work at Viacom, BET, you know, during award shows. I've worked in different digital media capacities in corporate before I transitioned into entrepreneurship. So I love the art of consuming content, of watching TV, of watching a series. YouTube is the platform I spend the most time on, but I ain't creating the most on it, right? That doesn't even make sense. So I really want to get in my long form bag. A, because I think I'm really good at producing long form content, but B, I enjoy consuming long form content the most. Like, I know short form is super trendy and short form is very easy to produce. You can pump out a lot of content. But again, I want to focus on things that really make me happy. And so if I enjoy consuming this type of content the most, why aren't I creating this type of content the most? Long form content is also the way that I present best. Like, I'm a long form girl in my real life. Like, take me on a long walk. When I'm hanging out with the girls, I like to have long, deep conversations. Like, when it's time to go, I'm sad. So like, it is the way I live my life. It's the way I experience joy. One of my love languages is quality time. So that's kind of like the relationship that I have with consuming long form content. It feels like we're spending quality time. And that's the way that I really showcase my personality the most. Like, I could talk, you know, girl, we could talk, we be talking. And so short form content, while I won't completely abandon it, it's just not the way I feel. It doesn't feed my soul in the same way that sitting through a 20-minute something or 30-minute something does. And so it's just time for me to really focus on what feeds my soul. And it's interesting because I have this kind of like framework that I take my clients through where I have them pick their strongest personality showcaser. That's what I call it. Because so often we're creating content and we feel like, oh, we need to do short form because short form is popular and you can create more content and it gets you more reach, right? And some people who are like really good writers feel like blogging is dead or email newsletters don't convert or whatever the thing, like all of these things, these made up things that we tell ourselves, when really I have my clients slow down. And I say, hey, what's the way you communicate best? When you need to communicate a message to a friend or a loved one, or when you really need to get your thoughts out and your point across, how do you do it? And they'll say things like, well, I'll journal, or I like to send a voice note, or I like to FaceTime. So when you think about the ways that you like actually communicate in your real life, those are the ways that you should communicate in your content. If you are a writer, a newsletter, you should be publishing one weekly, monthly, daily, if you have the capacity. If you are someone who loves sending voice notes or like audio form of communication, maybe a podcast is for you. You know, how can you really showcase your personality and communicate in the ways that best serve you? I think so often we get caught up in what best serves the people, but you really have to start by serving yourself, because as a result, you end up serving the people because it's really authentic, right? That's one of the things that I really had to give some real thought. It's like, girl, you teach people this. You make sure that people are making decisions that are authentic to how they want to show up online based on how they actually show up in real life. And so now it's time for you to listen to yourself. And so long form content is going to be my way of listening to myself because it is my strongest personality showcaser. I don't know if that's grammatically correct, but y'all get the point. Now, the next thing that I'm going to be doing, I'm taking quick and dirty action. And what I mean by that is I'm not spending time overthinking it. Like, if God gave it to me, that's enough for me to know that it's good, right? If God gave me the idea. So I'm not spending too much time on the particulars. I want to take quick and dirty action. So as soon as I get an idea, I want to implement it. I want to put it out into the world. No longer than, let's say, 7 days to 2 weeks do I want to sit on that idea. That's my way of, again, taking imperfect action. It is one of my prayers that I pray for myself and also fellow creators this year, is how can I take imperfect action? Like, we overthink things, we start comparing, and then the next thing we know, the idea never gets implemented. So quick and dirty action is something that I'm prioritizing. When I get an idea, I'm putting it out. So I definitely want to finish taking y'all through these, but I have some errands to run and a couple of things to do. So let's go get dressed.
That bad. If I say that I have it, you know that I got it. No need to look all in the bag. Something like this, cause I work so hard. I'm the best, I only speak facts. In the store, I'm popping them tags. A limited ceiling with stack. Cloud chasing for the cash grab. I don't really want it that bad. I'm trying to cop a milli while I keep my soul intact. Been through a lot, I learned to adapt. Never let struggle going no. In a chateau, counting up big dough. Your spirit on the gurney, by the plateau, snake in the grass.
For this next one, it may be a little selfish, but hear me out, because it makes sense. I am focusing less on what people need and more on what I need. And the reason for that is I feel like when you have been in the space for a while and you've been in the routine of creating, you start to kind of satisfy only what you think people need or what they're asking for or what they find valuable, and you neglect your own needs. And as a creative, I have creative needs. The value content doesn't always satisfy my needs. Sometimes I just need to get some stuff off my chest, and I want to be able to create things that I need. And the reason why I said stay with me, even though it sounds selfish, is when you create from a place of what you need, you automatically end up helping other people too, right? That's the connection. That's the synergy of it all. It's like when you create from a place of authenticity, there's somebody out there who's going through the same thing or maybe needs to hear whatever message you have. So I'm going to be less focused on creating content that I feel like people need and being focused on getting back to me and creating from a place of, you know what, I needed this. Like, I need to get this out into the world. I definitely want the content to focus on more sharing and less value content instead of putting together content that teaches a thing. So less teaching and more talking. I learned the most from listening to people talk, like in real life conversation, or if I'm watching a podcast and it's like that person just dropped so many gems and provided so much value, and they were just talking, they were just sharing their story. And we know storytelling is pivotal in content creation. Like, it is the single most important thing you can do. I feel like that is actually the definition of content, is to storytell. And so again, somewhere in the midst of running the business full time these past few years, everything in my mind, I was like, it's not valuable enough, I'm not going to put it out. Or I would sit and think of ideas or go out and, kind of brainstorm things. And it's like, how can I teach people how to do a thing? I want to do less of that and more sharing with people how I've done that thing. More authentically, unapologetically sharing and less value content. Basically, less teaching and more just talking. So I just pulled up to Publix. I like to keep fresh flowers in the house, in the vase, the vase, whichever you prefer, darling, on the kitchen table. And I just moved back to Atlanta in May, and I haven't found a florist yet. I like to support like a local florist or, a garden or something like that. I haven't found it yet. I read somewhere that you're not really settled into your place until it's been 2 years. So don't judge me, okay? I'm still getting a lot of things together. So we're going to go run in Publix and get some flowers. When I was in New York, I used to walk to like this market and I would get fresh flowers and fresh eucalyptus for the shower. Like, they would have like these stands where these florists would kind of set up and sell stuff. But New York is a very walkable city. But yeah, so we're going to go get some flowers, and maybe pick up a few things, and then we're going to take it to the house.
I got that heat, I got that fire. Yeah. Torch got that heat, he got that fire. Yeah. Firecracker street, hear a pop, pop. 오늘도 여전히 달려, chop, chop. 쓰는 노래마다 모두 pop, pop. Always coming up ahead like some top, 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 top. Firecracker street, hear a pop, pop. 오늘도 여전히 달려, chop, chop. 쓰는 노래마다 모두 pop, pop. Always coming up ahead like some top, 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 top. 담배 65을 building, I'm a builder, Fenty. 바쁜 척 하는 게 아니야, 쉴 새 없이 busy. 먹고 자고 작업하고 반복되는 meeting. Your girl a long time hustler, no amateur untraining.
Y'all making sure y'all stay hydrated? Because people be thirsty, but you ain't got to be one of them. Brand new day. Got some client work to do. I'm going to shoot a couple of videos, which is why I went ahead and already did my makeup. But the next thing that I am leaving behind and doing differently in 2024 when it comes to this YouTube thing is unleash the niche. Say it with me. Unleash the niche. Now, this is an interesting one for me because I've always been anti-niche. I always have felt like God didn't give us all of these great ideas for us to only implement one. I believe in creative abundance. Like when God said in Genesis, be fruitful and multiply, I don't think that was just referring to, go have a bunch of babies. I think that was be fruitful and multiply with your gifts and all of the things that are so precious in life that I give you. Like I give you these things for a reason so that you can be fruitful and multiply and have abundance in your life. So when God gives me these creative ideas, I believe that they are for a reason. Like, the difference between a hunch and something that was a direct download from God. And so that's how I approach it. It's like, I'm not cutting out anything that I love. I feel like the whole niche movement has really limited people's creativity. And even though I have been anti-niche since I've started creating content, because I was busy running the brand strategy side of the business and the creative direction, I found myself hyper focused on that area. So while I would still create content about other things, I was focused on marketing the business and creating content that did that. And I let go some of my personal passions, like things that I just would casually create content about. I came into this space as an influencer, beauty and style blogger. This was back before influencer was even a word for real. And it was plus size fashion, beauty, style, hair. And so those things really kind of disappeared as I started to create content about creating content. I'm unleashing the niche, and we are back to building my personal brand alongside the business and, all of the things that go along with that. Okay, so y'all remember I took notes. The next thing that I really am going to be doing this year is whatever the hell I want. But what I mean by that is I got to get back to flexing my creative muscles. I fell down this rabbit hole of presenter on cam content where I'm talking to the camera only and I'm talking you through a thing or talking about a specific thing. And I'll still be doing that because I have my podcast, Content for Brunch, which is all about content marketing, sitting down with a bunch of creative people who are making a cute coin online. And so I'll still have that. And that's my sit down to camera content. And then I'll be bringing back a series that I used to do a couple of years ago called Beneath the Seams. And I'll be bringing that back in podcast form. So that'll be more sit down, talk to the camera style content. But I found myself even in my short form content, just kind of like on cam talking. And it really limited like the things that I love. I went to school for television. So like I'll watch a series or binge something on Netflix and I'm drooling over the cinematography. Like it's like, okay, the storyline is cool. Like who killed what? Who did what, girl? Who cheated? Like all of those things are great. I love the storytelling, but I'm dreaming over the drooling over the drone shot, or I'm drooling over the way, she was running on the treadmill and it felt like I was right there with her. So like those things visually have always been standouts to me, and I know my way behind the camera. Like there is a way to visually storytell that I feel like, because I like to talk, I focus so much on just talking to the camera instead of really flexing my creative visual storytelling as well. And so I'm gonna be doing more of that this year because it really, I don't know, like I geek out over it. Like I look at certain stuff and I'm like, ooh, the way they lit that, honey, where's the award for the lighting on this project alone? And so I want to play around more with those types of things to really flex my creativity in other ways. Like I'm a creative thinker. I have really great ideas, but I'm also like a creative person visually. And so I want to show that off a little more. Another big focus that I have to do differently this year is I am avoiding the algorithm. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to completely ignore it, but I won't allow the algorithm to influence my creativity. I am the influencer. I am the tastemaker. We are allowing the algorithm to raise us. And so again, I am a creative strategist. So some of the parts of my superpower and what I do for work are very creative, but then there's also that strategist side of me who's like, okay, what are the numbers? What are the strategic things we can do behind this content? And that's a lot of the work that I do with my clients. And so I have to look at the numbers. Sometimes we have to look at the data to make data informed decisions, right? It's a part of being a strategist. The part that I really love though is the creative side. And even when I worked in corporate, that was kind of one of the things that drove me out. Well, they also kind of drove me out, girl, because you know how that be. But I really, really, really hated the fact that content would be so good. It would be so well produced, so authentic. The messaging would be chef's kiss. But because of the numbers, we would can it and it never got out. Or, you know, we wouldn't produce another season of it. And I just feel like allowing numbers to dictate your creativity turns us all into robots. And so that's what I mean when I say I'm avoiding the algorithm. Everything ain't about the algorithm and everything ain't about the likes and views. Sometimes you just need to release and get some of that creative energy up out of you and into the world. And so I don't want to talk myself out of doing things because one thing was working before, or because I don't have proof of concept that this thing is gonna work. I just wanna get the idea, I like it, and execute on it because it gave me a creative release, and energetically, that feels good to me.
Entrepreneur, yeah, CEO. Boss on the scene, yeah, queen for show. 타고나지 않아도 금수저. 자수성가 self-made, 다음 target LA. Firecracker street.
So it is the end of the day and we have just a little bit more work to do. It has been a long couple of days actually, but good days and I'm grateful. So I'm actually gonna get a little bit more work done and then I'm going to bed. I gotta practice getting to bed like at a baby hour, not even a decent hour. Like I wanna be in bed with the kids at like 8 o'clock. Maybe a little bit ambitious, but here we are. But yeah, so I'm getting a little bit of client work done. I have a client who worked with me within my agency and we launched her podcast. We worked together on all of the messaging. We shot all of the creative and it is launch week. So I just want to check the back end and make sure that things are good. And so I'm actually going to share this creative with you guys because I'm so proud of it. Like it's super dope. So this client is a therapist and a transformational coach. And so she had the idea for a podcast that prioritized healing through music. And so one of the things that I really love is putting together the creative direction on how to communicate that in messaging. So we worked together on her podcast messaging. We've shot a full first season of all of her episodes. But what I want to take you guys through is the creative direction. So I wanted to really capture nostalgia, like sitting up in my room, Brandy style nostalgia. I don't know how old you guys are, but I used to literally sit in my room and listen on my CD player, and Brandy was my all-time favorite singer at the time. So I really wanted to make sure that the creative direction there captured the nostalgia of like just kicking it as a teenager in your room. And so these are some of the things that we were able to shoot. I had her order an old CD player, a boom box. And so Lyrical Reflections is all about healing through music. And so this is just some of the behind the scenes of the shoot, me providing the creative direction and everything. And so I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of my process here because I'm obsessed with this. And so then once we got these images back, I took it into Canva. And I went through a couple of different, I just always kind of start with just a regular template, just something that's kind of on brand for the client's colors. And so this is very generic in comparison to like what we ended up with, but I'm a visual person. So I just want to see something to kind of get my wheels turning, but I wanted everything to scream music. And so I came in here and I played around in Canva with the images and we were able to design her podcast cover art. And so she's getting ready to launch this week. This was a couple of different versions of the logo that we went through. So yeah, I'm super excited. This is probably one of the proudest projects I've worked on to date. So before we end this video and this vlog, I do have one more last thing that I'm doing differently on YouTube in 2024. And that is simply, I am going to stop stopping. And it's scary to think about. It almost brings tears to my eyes to actually let it release from my lips because I've wanted to do this for so long now and something always gets in the way. But I have to get over the stopping. I owe it to myself. I have a lot to prove to myself, and I'm going to work for this and show myself that I can do it. So if you have made it this far in the video, and my God, I hope somebody did, I want you to put the words that I started this video with in the comments. Begin again. It is okay. I know it's cliche, but it is okay to begin again. And this time, I am going to see this through, and I'm committed to stopping. I appreciate you so much for listening to me and my story, and I hope that at the very least, you grabbed something from this, you took away something from this that could help you in your journey. We got this. I'll see you guys next time.
I believe one day, I believe in the future, I believe in the past, I believe what you truly desire, you can bring to pass. All you need is a focus and a story to hold, and the faith that you can achieve